It's being recorded. Okay. Welcome to the Latin American and Iberian Studies program. My name is Cecilia Mendez, and I am the program director. I joined again this year as a director, but I have been teaching for more than 20 years as part of the program. So let me introduce you a little. I am here with colleagues. I am here with Giovanni Betts, professor in Chicano Studies, with Javiera Barandiaran, who is, you can maybe raise your hand, like when name your name. So Javiera Barandiaran, she is the director of graduate studies, and she is a professor in global studies. Amy Hauser is a graduate student, second-year graduate student. Jeremy Moore is the staff graduate advisor. And we have also current undergraduate assistant Isabel Tate Arevalo, and Jennifer is around. Jennifer Valenzuela is a student. Am I missing anyone? Okay. So we are here to tell you a little bit about the program. This is the oldest area studies program in the university, and one of the oldest Latin American and Iberian studies program in California. This is a program and not a department. That is one important difference that people should understand, because what it means is that departments have their own full-time professors, whereas programs are units that where the professors from other departments come together. Okay, so we are currently housed in the Spanish department building, but the administration is serving several units, and among them the Latin American Studies program. One very important thing also to understand about this program is that its nature is interdisciplinary. Okay, so the degree you get is the degree in the master's in Latin American and Iberian studies. We have also a major and a minor, so it's BA and minor in Latin American and Iberian studies. So basically, this informational meeting is about the graduate program. So here we are. This informational meeting is about the graduate program. The graduate program gives a master's degree, and it takes 2 years to complete. It takes 2 years to complete. And in these 2 years, you have to have a main advisor that is going to be your first field, because the masters ask you to have four fields of specialization. So this goes along with this interdisciplinary nature of the program. For example, if you you will get into the program because you want to do something about race in Mexico, or indigenous societies in the Andes or in Colombia, whatever, Northern Andes, Southern Andes, or Brazil. So what you're going to do is to go to the website and choose a professor that is closer to your area. And when you get to the program, this professor is going to be your advisor, and this advisor can be revisited. You have a period of 1 quarter to work with this advisor, and then you fix your advisor for the rest of the career. But then you have to have this major area, which is the area you work with your advisor. Then you have to choose a second area. For this second area has to be another discipline or another subfield within the discipline. For example, if your first area is history with Cecilia Mendez, in this case, like race in Peru, then you can choose people working on race in Mexico or Brazil, or you can choose like colonial history of Mexico as a second area. All this is very described in the handbook. We are going to provide the links in a few minutes. But the thing is that this program allows you to have a training and a learning process that has the characteristic of being interdisciplinary. So first field, history; second field, sociology; third field, linguistics. If your interest is, for example, languages or racial things or political history, you can always see it from different angles: political science, sociology, history, literature even, right? So this is the wonderful thing about this program. Your formation prepares you, and this is the other point I'm going to just talk very briefly. What does the master's in Latin America prepare you for? This question should be answered by what our students do after that, and also what is the idea our students apply with. We have, I would say, a different variety of students, but most of the students who apply to the program, I would say there are two types of students. There are students who know they want to do the master's for a certain specific end. For example, they want to be school teachers, or they want to be in an NGO, or they want to work in some kind of international entity, or in education administrative jobs. We have all kinds of this, or even business, although they are not very few. So there are students who know they only want a master's, at least for now, and they don't, and they are happy with the master's, and they make very good use of the master's. There are other students who really wanted to go to PhD, but they are not sure if they are prepared, and they want a transitional period in their education to decide and to get more formation. So these are about half and half. So far, we're going to show you at the end of this session some links where you can see a wonderful event we had celebrating more than 40 years of the program. The first thesis was presented in 1980, so we are now far ahead the 40-year anniversary, because it means that the first students were in the late 70s. Probably the program is about 45 years or so. And so we put together an event celebrating the more than 40 years of the program in 2021. And we had career panels. So you can see the former students talking about what they did with the masters. So to give you some examples, some of them are professors in different universities, some of them associate professors, some of them directors of programs in the universities. It means that they went to PhD programs. Some of them, many of them work in NGOs. Some of them work in administrative jobs in universities. A few of them work in business. So there's a variety of careers you can follow. I think in order not to get this too long, I'm going to leave this to the next speaker, who is Javiera, to talk really about the admissions process. I must say that the details of what courses you need to take and all that is very clear on our website. So the best thing is just to check those links to know what are the more precise requirements to fulfill the degree. But definitely what I can say, and with this I will end, is that you are required to write a thesis. So you are required to take a number of courses, and there's a lot of flexibility for these courses in the different programs and according to your areas. And you write a thesis of minimum 35 pages to 35 to 50 pages is what is required. And most of our students do more than 100. One of our students even published a book after his thesis, but you are not required. So there's a lot of flexibility as long as you meet the basic requirement that is the thesis, 35 pages, okay? So thank you, and I hope you are more interested in knowing more about the program. Javiera, please. Javiera, again, is the Director of Graduate Studies and Professor in Global Studies.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Cecilia, for introducing me and the program. As Cecilia said, my name is Javiera Barandiarán. I'm an associate professor in global studies, and I am currently the graduate student director for the Latin American and Iberian Studies program. And so again, that just goes to show and underscore the interdisciplinarity of this program, that it really spans the humanities and the social sciences, and lots of us from all kinds of disciplinary backgrounds and also country, regional, and backgrounds working in this program. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about how to go through the admissions process. It's if you Google graduate admissions requirements, Latin American and Iberian Studies program, and I'll provide the link at the end of this short recording. you'll come to the webpage that includes the link to the online application that you must use, information about the application fee, and the requirements. In terms of program requirements for admissions, these are pretty straightforward. It's just a CV, a statement of purpose that outlines your personal achievements and contributions, and a writing sample and 3 letters of recommendation. We do not require GREs or any exams of that type. And you can look at the UCSB campus requirements for language testing requirements. Key thing about the admissions process is that we use a holistic review process, meaning that we take into account students' intellectual potential, their goals for this program and wanting to complete an MA in Latin American and Iberian Studies, and we take into account not only grades, but also an assessment of their personal trajectory and goals. So it is a very holistic approach in that sense that considers sort of the range of experiences that students are going to bring to the program and to the campus. Money. So money is always a concern. Very briefly, in terms of the application, there is an application fee. The important thing here is that if you are a U.S. citizen or resident or a Dream Scholar, you can apply for a fee waiver. In order to do this, you must get your application in at least 2 weeks before the due date, which is January 10th for Latin American and Iberian Studies. So that's coming up quickly, much faster than we think. So if you want to apply for a fee waiver, you do that through Graduate Division and through the online application portal, and you must do it 2 weeks before the final due date, which is January 10th. Then the other much more important substantial expense of actually completing a graduate program here at UCSB. There are a few avenues of financial aid available to us. So the Latin American and Iberian Studies LAIS program, we receive a central campus fellowship that we can offer to an incoming MA student every year. We also have other sources of funding that we can use to complement any funding that you might have or that you might obtain from another funding source. And we also have a limited number of teaching assistantships. So these teaching assistantships essentially mean that in exchange for dedicating a significant amount of time to helping teach in the classroom, usually working with a faculty member, you obtain a salary and a tuition and fee remission. It's the primary way by which graduate students fund their graduate education within the UC system. And it's something that we rely on. So within LAIS, the number of TA ships is limited, but across the social sciences and humanities, there are numerous opportunities, and our LAIS students regularly have teaching assistantships in other departments like Chicano-Chicana studies, Black studies, feminist studies, global studies, and much more. I think that is all from admissions. So I will pass it on to my colleague Gio Batz, so he can talk a little bit about his work and his research. Thanks, Gio.
Thanks, Javiera.
Yeah, so, well, first off, thank you so much to the program Director Dr. Cecilia Mendez and Javiera for that really good introduction to the program here at UCSB. I guess my role right now is to kind of share y'all a little bit about the type of research that I do. As mentioned previously, the program has over 60 affiliates. So those of us who are in the humanities and social sciences, we do a wider range of research. Our focuses are all throughout Latin America and in communities here in the US and elsewhere. So to start off, I'm an assistant professor here in the Department of Chicana and Chicano Studies. This is my second year here. So I'm really excited to be here in Santa Barbara. A little bit about my research. I focus on extractivist industries and indigenous movements in Guatemala. So my work has to do with how indigenous peoples understand kind of the negative impacts of hydroelectric plants in particular. My research also focuses on Maya and Central American migration from the region to the US. And then I also look at kind of those communities who settle here in the US as well. So as you can see, my kind of research is both in Guatemala and in Latin America and here in the US, right? So my work tends to be a little bit more hemispheric in that regard. And that's the type of research that some professors do here. Other colleagues work in literature, other folks do art, other people do political science, history, etc. My research is very interdisciplinary, and I attribute that a lot to the master's degree that I actually received in Latin American Studies at UT Austin. So in a very similar fashion here at UCSB, obtaining a master's degree in Latin American Studies introduces you to a wide range of different professors who engage in different types of research, different countries, and then different methods. So if you're into archives, you could do archival research. If you want to take a more ethnographic approach, you could definitely connect with professors here who do that type of research. If you want to do survey research, I'm sure you could find a professor who does that type of stuff. So the beauty of this program is that you could come here with a particular interest and then kind of look for different professors that you would like to work with and seek mentorship from. So that's kind of my quick plug for the program. Beyond that, Santa Barbara is located within Southern California, right? So we're 2 hours away from Los Angeles. We're also drives away from the Bay Area, as well as Central California. So again, we're located in a very interesting area where you could also do like local research if you're interested in doing research here in California. There's a big farm workers community here in Oxnard and in Ventura. So geographically, this is a very exciting place to be, especially if you're interested in Latino, Latinx community-based research or Latin American studies. I'm sure there's something you can find here too. The resources here on campus too is really good, right? So we have different centers that you could also access. The library here is very one, especially because UCSB is a Research One institute. So I'm sure you can find something here that is of your interest. If you have any questions, of course, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I'm sure we could provide my email address if y'all have any questions in terms of like working with professors. So with that in mind, I'll turn it over to my other colleague, Dr. Jaime Perez, who's in Department of Linguistics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gio. Jaime.
Hi, thank you, Cecilia, Javiera, and Gio. And yes, I am Jaime Perez Gonzalez. I am a assistant professor in linguistics. This is my first year here in Santa Barbara. I'm kind of excited. I'm finishing my first quarter, and it's really, I think, a very nice quarter. Students kind of liked our class, so I'm very happy about that. So welcome, and I'm here because I also have a background in Hispanic language and literature, and I'm currently in the linguistic department working on indigenous languages, and I work mainly as Giovanni. I work on Mayan languages, but I mainly focus on language and literature, and I also do work with languages, Misumalpan languages, specifically Miskitu, which is spoken in Honduras and Nicaragua. A bit of my background: I am myself a Mayan. I am from Mexico, from Chiapas, so I speak natively in Celtal, which is a Mayan language, and I'm working also in 2 other Mayan languages. So yeah, I am interested in looking at language from structural perspective, but also from the ways languages come in contact. So we have a lot of that in Central America, in the Americas in general. So we are really excited to look into more of these languages, underrepresented languages, and that's basically what I focus on, to work on these minority languages and see how they come in contact, and how Spanish has influence over their structure and how these languages change over time. And I also work on documentation, and I'm also doing some language revitalization with these languages. My work is very community-based work, and I work with communities throughout the Mexico and Honduras, Nicaragua mainly. Yeah, and I am also interested on looking at indigenous methodologies and how they interact and how we can conversate with the current methodologies we have in linguistics, because most of these methodologies are written by foreign perspectives to our communities. So yeah, that's something that I am also very focused on. And I'm also a language interpreter. That means I'm also doing language interpretation, and I am currently an interpreter for course here at the US. So yes, my work is very multidisciplinary, and I am interested on engaging also into more areas of study, how language work throughout the social justice, language justice. And yeah, that's basically what I can say. And
thank you so much, Jaime. And you still have more to tell about your creative writing, right?
yes, I am also a writer in my spare time, which is not much as a professor, but yes,
By the way.
my background is also as a writer, and I published some of my texts. And yeah, I'm actually very happy to teach one of these classes about indigenous literature, or in general Latin American literature.
Wonderful. Okay, so the next speaker is Amy, our graduate student. Go ahead, Amy. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy, and I'm currently a graduate student in Latin American Iberian Studies, and I'm finishing up my thesis this quarter. I want to share kind of similar to what all of our faculty have said so far, but something that I really appreciated about this program is the interdisciplinary nature of it. In my undergraduate studies, I always felt that my interests were pulling me in many different directions, but with this program, I was able to take classes in history, global studies, education, and even art history, and use all of those towards my own research, which is about the memory of dictatorship in Chile in K through 12 schools. And so that was probably one of the most impactful parts of the program, that I got to pull from all these different disciplines that I had always felt interested in, without having to commit to a 7-year PhD program or EDD program in a specific discipline. I also just want to share one of my favorite things about the program is the support I've received from faculty members across all of the affiliated departments, and the alumni and current students. Because we are a small program, we're able to develop really close connections as cohorts, and even across cohorts. So with students who were a year or two ahead of me, they always checked in on me and helped me and guided me through different parts of the academic planning. And in the same, you can pass that on once you're an upperclassman, I guess, and you get to help out and weigh in for the incoming cohorts. So I've always really enjoyed that. And as Javiera mentioned, lots of our grad students are TAs, teaching assistants, and that has also been kind of an amazing experience, getting to feel really confident in the classrooms and helping undergraduates succeed. That has been a really incredible experience, getting to develop teaching skills and working with the undergrads. I really can't recommend the program enough. I've just felt supported by the faculty and staff, and making connections with my students, both in terms of students I've taught and students that I'm taking classes with, has really been amazing.
Thank you so much, Amy. So that is a general introduction to the program. And perhaps I will complement what Amy was saying at the end, or the conversations we were having as we prepare this panel, is that we want to share with you the panels that we did for the celebration of the 40th plus anniversary of the master's program. And I'm going to share a screen with you so that you can have an idea of what over time. Oh, okay, great, Javiera. So yes, this is now yeah, alumni. You can just click with the alumni program. Yeah. Great. So we had this wonderful event that I think was very, very special, and we worked hard because, as I was mentioning, we are really a few decades already. It's not a new program. The chancellor inaugurated this event, and then we invited the alumni, the former students of the program, to give us a sense of what they're doing, what they want to share. And we created these career panels. Exactly. Thanks for that highlight. So Larissa Veloz, assistant professor in Chicano Studies in Texas at El Paso. Nicole, professor in the University of Alabama, working in history of science. Carrie, assistant professor in the Department of Oregon. So we just go over is, and you have a second panel in film and journalism. So the first one was in history. The second is in people who were doing film and journalism. You see Amy Rosner, documentarian, Christine Garrison, journalist, which is fascinating. I remember Christine because some of them, I've been here for a long time. So I know most of the students. The third panel was about NGOs and business and administration. Miguel, for example, senior policy analyst in the Center for Common Concerns. Then there we have executive director in the Sierra Community House, Paul Bancroft, Steve Pent, director of adult formation in St. William Church. Actually, this is the guy who wrote, who turned his thesis into a book. It was about an indigenous movement in Peru in the 1920s. Stephen Pent, you can consult that book. That was his thesis, amazing work. Then we had a mixture with, the former students sharing their memories. And then yet the following day, and you can go on, Javiera, we had a panel fourth was those who went on to pursue careers in anthropology. Again, associate professors, anthropologists, Thelma, 3 anthropologists working in academia. And then the last panel was in history and political science. You can see that, yes, there is a mixture of humanities and social sciences and also film and art. And then the second one is career panels in education. People who are school teachers, elementary school teachers, working in the Unified School, Los Angeles Unified School. And again, another panel in NGOs, people working in NGOs, coordination of Daniel Smith. That was probably our oldest former graduate student who is retired from, he got his degree in '86, formerly program coordinator for Latin American medical relief projects, direct relief. And Jorge Gonzalez, who worked on engagement, was an engagement organizer in the Environmental Health Coalition. And so you can see that's what that's a sample of what the students that graduated from our program have done, and it will give you a sense of what you can do with a master's degree. I think that's about it. The only thing I can add is that there's another element that makes our program special, and it's not just Latin America, but it's Latin American and Iberian studies, which means that it encompasses the Iberian Peninsula, of course, Portugal and Spain. And so we have different fields also, people working in literature and linguistics and in film as well in the Spanish department concerning Spanish and Portuguese histories and cultures and different disciplines within them. So I think with this we can end, and you can always go to this website that has a lot of information about the program, the courses you teach, admission requirements, everything you can find. I think we can probably stop. Oh, okay. Yes, I think that probably we can stop sharing. We have also, if you go to our website and you click alumni, you will find a list of all the theses that have been submitted to this program since the year 1980. until 2023, there's about 110 theses. It means that there are more than 110 graduates, because at some point in the LAIS master program, the thesis was not required. In the 1990s, people could just pass an examination, but now, yeah, it's yes, you can click the thesis, and the thesis now are required. So, but it means that there are more than 110 people who graduated with a master's degree from our program, but there are at least 110 theses that you can just browse and have an idea and read if you want also. But then you have to go to the library or the website or the web to check the thesis. So that's about it. Yes, that gives you a sense of, can browse the thesis. That's a lot. Until we get to the last one in 2023, 2 theses defended this year. Big diversity of topics and areas of the world, of Latin America and Iberia. Okay, so thank you. I don't know if there are any questions from, because we also have new faculty. We have some students here, and I don't know if you have any questions you want to ask. No questions? Okay, any of you would like to add anything else, colleagues? Yes, Jaime.
Yes, I just wanted to ask if is there any special funding for international students, or how does that work?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not a special funding for international students. That's one of the big challenges that we have in general, and that is something that we should be working on. Yeah. So because the full year fellowship that we have, that is called the Cota Robles, as Javiera was saying, that's the one we get from the campus. I believe it doesn't cover the foreign fee, the foreign student fee. Yes, and unfortunately, yes, California has different fees. Student tuition is different from those who are residents and non-residents in California. So it's not just like foreigners, but if you are a non-California resident, but a U.S. U.S. citizen or resident, you can become one after 1 year of living in California. Unfortunately, for foreign students, is different a situation, but we need to work on that. And yeah, many of us are foreigners.
I will add, there is an office for undocumented students and for Dream Scholars.
Very important.
Yeah, so there is financial aid packages, and California residency is applied to those students.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Cecilia and Javiera.
Very important information. Okay, anything else? The final thing I would say is that we also have events. We organize as much as possible, as much as we can, tertulias, which means presentations by professor, presentations by students, roundtables to create community. And in these roundtables, it goes from presenting their own research to talking about current political issues. Those are the roundtables that have been historically more successful, or the tertulias that have drawn a lot of people in the room, are when we discuss what's going on in Latin America in specific countries or regions, like when there are, shaky political moments, we called this variety of professors that we have that specialized in from Central America to Mexico, Portugal, Spain, Brazil, Venezuela, and they are the ones who usually people who work on those fields are from these countries, increasingly more, though not necessarily many of them are. Like, for example, I didn't talk about myself. I work on Peru. I'm a historian in Peru, and I follow every day what goes on there. Like Javiera follows the Chile, right? Gio goes like Guatemala, and so forth. It doesn't mean that we only follow those, but we have special connections in countries of Latin America and Iberia, and therefore we are in a position that we can share our knowledge and our very close contact with these parts of the world to the campus community, and that's the reason why these tertulias and exchanges that we have can be very rich, because we work, we complement our our knowledge. So it is about a career, it is about research, but it's about also commitment with society, with our different places where we work, different communities, be there within, here in close to us, like Gio was saying, or there can also be far away. So that's something that at least personally for me, is super important in what I do.
Sorry, I just wanted to add just one quick thing in regards to funding and finance. So our department is, or sorry, our program in LAIS.
Sorry, let me introduce you again for the people who may have.
Sure, yes.
After one, Jeremy Moore is the staff graduate counselor, or whatever is.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm the advisor for graduate students, and yeah, our program is very lucky that we are able to nominate one student every year for the Cota Robles Fellowship Award. That actually does cover non-resident tuition fees. So for the first year. So if a student is coming from an international location, UCSB actually will cover NRST if they are nominated for and awarded the Cota Robles Fellowship, which our program can do once each year. So there is like a slight opportunity for that, but obviously like we only have one nomination for that. And what I always tell grad students when I'm talking to them in admissions is just you'll have your full financial package in front of you before you have to make a decision. So it's not like you have to just sort of like apply blindly. Should you be admitted to our program, we'll send you like a very clear offer letter that just sort of spells out, here's what the program would cover, here's what you would be responsible for. But we do have that Cota Robles Fellowship that does have the potential to cover international fees for at least 1 year. So
that's great. And
yeah.
and I think that's a big step. The challenge is the next year. Yeah. But that's something, yeah, we can, that's great news anyway. Yeah. Thank you for adding that very important information. Great. Any other thing anyone would like to add? No? Okay, so if you want to reach us, you can find our information on the LAIS webpage, which all of us are there, or will be there soon, because the new professors, they're in the process of getting their profiles entered and created. But for example, Professor Giovanni Batz and Professor Jaime are still not on our website because they are just joined LAIS, but they can be reached in their departments. Giovanni in Chicana Studies, and Jaime in linguistics, Javiera in global studies. I am in history and also in LAIS, the LAIS website. John Fotiani. Okay, so unfortunately we are finishing. There was someone who just joined, but I can add, that's it, that our website has all the information you need in principle, but of course you can contact us directly for more information to our emails. And I think that's about it, right?
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this and coming to this event.